In today's video, we bring you a heartbreaking moment that shook the royal family to its core. Princess Charlotte, known for her poised and confident demeanor, was seen in tears as her mother Kate Middleton revealed a deeply emotional and personal message from Queen Elizabeth II's last wish. What did the Queen ask for in her final moments? And how did it impact the young princess? Stay tuned as we uncover the touching details that have left the world in awe. Do you believe the royal family has such emotional moments too? If yes, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0. Enjoy the video and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Recently, an important change was approved among the states, with the Queen as the head of state agreeing to adjust the succession rules within the royal family. As per the new rules, if Prince William and Kate Middleton have a daughter, she will become the next Queen of the United Kingdom. This is a profound change reflecting progress and openness within the royal family. Princess Charlotte, with her exceptional leadership abilities, moved the public when Kate Middleton shared Queen Elizabeth II's wishes for Charlotte's role within the royal family. Upon hearing this, Princess Charlotte was brought to tears, touching everyone deeply. This was a truly emotional moment, and together we will explore the significance of this change for the royal family. Since the Succession to the Crown Act was passed in 2013, significant changes have been implemented. Previously, younger sons were given priority over daughters in the line of succession to the throne. However, with this change, every child now has an equal opportunity with no gender discrimination. This helps create a more peaceful and equitable future for those who will inherit the throne. The farewell ceremony for Queen Elizabeth II in September 2022 was an emotional event. Princess Charlotte, at just 7 years old, displayed remarkable composure and deep respect. Not only did she walk solemnly behind the Queen's coffin, but she also wore a horseshoe brooch in remembrance of her great-grandmother's love for horseback riding. This brooch was a gift from the Queen to Charlotte, symbolizing the deep family bond between them. After King Charles III ascended the throne in May 2023, the monarchy entered a new chapter. Princess Charlotte, the daughter of Prince William, will be the heir to the throne following her grandfather, King Charles III, her father, Prince William, and her older brother, Prince George. Charlotte's position in the line of succession is determined by the order of her birth, not by gender, which promises her a bright and promising future. Compared to Princess Charlotte, Princess Anne went through difficult times being ranked lower in the line of succession to the throne simply because of her gender. Despite being the only daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, Princess Anne had to accept standing behind her younger brothers in the succession list. However, the changes in succession rules have created opportunities for female members of the royal family, marking significant progress toward gender equality within the monarchy. Princess Charlotte is a symbol of change and progress within the royal family. She is not only an heir to the throne, but also a strong and promising figure. The British monarchy is gradually adapting to the modern world while still preserving its important traditions, and Charlotte is a key part of that evolution. The process of succession to the throne in history has always followed a clearly defined pattern. The throne is passed to the eldest son of the heir, then to their descendants, and if necessary to the siblings of the heir. However, these rules remained unchanged for a long time until the Succession to the Crown Act of 2013 introduced significant reforms. One of the major changes was allowing those married to Roman Catholics to remain in the line of succession, while also removing the requirement that the sovereign must have a connection to the Church of England. Princess Charlotte, the daughter of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, is a perfect symbol of the blend of tradition and modernity within the royal family. She not only represents a shift in the way succession is viewed, but also embodies the acceptance and preservation of the royal family's traditional customs while safeguarding the importance of the British monarchy. The public's interest in Charlotte's growth is understandable, as many expect her to play an active role in public events and charitable work, just like her parents. Princess Charlotte is not like your typical princess. She displays remarkable confidence and charisma. Not only is she a protector of herself and her siblings, Prince George and Prince Louis, but Charlotte also demonstrates empathy and resilience in a tech-driven society. She has learned through educational apps under supervision to safeguard her privacy, all while leading the royal family in a new way, applying contemporary values to her royal responsibilities. One of the most touching moments was Queen Elizabeth II's request to meet with Princess Charlotte as she wanted a private conversation with her. This was not a grand royal event or a public speech, but a one-on-one chat between the Queen and her granddaughter at Balmoral Castle, where the Queen enjoyed peaceful summers. A special tea was prepared for the two of them, and no one else was present. The conversation lasted about 20 minutes, brief, but deeply meaningful, leaving a lasting impression on the Queen. When Princess Charlotte visited the Queen, she was given a sealed envelope bearing the royal crest of Queen Elizabeth. This envelope was meant to be opened only when Charlotte felt ready. Although no one knows exactly what the letter contains, a royal assistant confirmed that only the Queen knew its contents, and it may hold an important message specifically for Charlotte. This is a spiritual gift, a lesson that could help Charlotte as she grows and gains a deeper understanding of her role in the future of the monarchy. The meeting between Queen Elizabeth II and Princess Charlotte was not just a simple royal event, but symbolized something much deeper. It was not only a farewell, but also a milestone marking the delicate transfer of a bond, a duty, a legacy within the royal family. A private meeting with no one else present, no advisors or cameras, just the Queen and Charlotte. Though a small gesture, it illuminated many important aspects for the future of the monarchy. Many have begun to compare Princess Charlotte to Princess Diana, noticing similarities not only in appearance, but also in demeanor. Both share deep eyes and a gentle yet determined gaze. In the 1980s, when Diana felt isolated within the royal family, she had a private conversation with Queen Elizabeth. She shared her feelings of loneliness and being misunderstood, and the Queen listened without offering advice. It seems the Queen saw in Charlotte a part of herself, qualities she once had in her youth. The meeting at Balmoral between the Queen and Charlotte was not just an ordinary conversation, but a transfer of affection and legacy. Queen Elizabeth II entrusted Charlotte with a letter, the contents of which remain unknown to anyone. Some within the palace believed this was an opportunity for the Queen to right the wrongs of the past and impart an important message for the future. Though not public, this gesture carries a profound message of sincerity and legacy. Queen Elizabeth decided to choose Charlotte over Prince William, Prince George, or even Princess Anne. This choice came as a surprise to the public, but it held deep meaning for those close to the palace. The Queen saw in Charlotte the same qualities she had as a young woman: calmness, sharpness, and a deep understanding of the world around her. Elizabeth had once been a young girl who never expected to become a ruler. But her life changed when her uncle abdicated and her father became king overnight. Similarly, Charlotte may not expect to carry such a heavy responsibility, but she possesses the qualities that will enable her to do so in the future. Princess Charlotte has already demonstrated maturity and exceptional leadership abilities from a young age. She not only displays politeness and sharpness, but also possesses a keen sense of understanding and observation, often beyond what she outwardly shows. The Queen has noticed these qualities in Charlotte and believes she will be a worthy heir. The British monarchy is at a significant crossroads, and Charlotte, with her character and composure, could very well become a leader who helps the monarchy navigate the major changes ahead. Princess Charlotte not only resembles Queen Elizabeth in appearance and behavior, but also in spirit. She embodies the readiness, quiet strength, and sense of purpose that Elizabeth herself exhibited. Queen Elizabeth understood that her reign was coming to an end and realized that the future of the monarchy was not just about determining the heir to the throne. She recognized the importance of the younger generation, and while Prince George will ultimately become king, the Queen believes that Charlotte will inherit another valuable trait: the ability to sift through distractions, recognize what truly matters, and know the right moment to act or exercise patience. At Balmoral, the Queen's beloved retreat, a special event took place. A letter was written not as guidance or instruction, but as a personal message conveying wisdom. This letter did not discuss titles or rules. Instead, it contained a profound message for Princess Charlotte. Privately given to Charlotte with no ceremony or cameras, it was a quiet moment shared between a great-grandmother and her granddaughter, where deep emotions and connection were conveyed without the need for words. After the Queen's passing, attention shifted to London, but amid the formal ceremonies and somber atmosphere, something remarkable occurred. Princess Charlotte attended the funeral dressed in black and wearing a hat similar to Queen Elizabeth's. Though saddened, she did not express it through tears or seek attention. Instead, she walked with solemnity. As she approached Queen Camilla, a special moment unfolded between them. Charlotte and Camilla's gazes met, and in that brief moment, a deep understanding passed between them without words. Charlotte, who had received the Queen's letter earlier, knew better than anyone the power and the tension that royal roles could carry. After the funeral, life went on as usual, but Charlotte felt different. She was no longer just an outsider. Now she had naturally and effortlessly become part of the royal story. People had loved Charlotte from the moment she was born, not just because of her cuteness, but also because of her ability to form strong connections with those around her. She didn't need to force anything. She simply blended in with others effortlessly. Although Charlotte is often seen waving to the crowd and displaying confidence at public events, palace staff have noticed something unique and remarkable hidden beneath her charming exterior. Despite her young age, Charlotte possesses a special talent for perceiving and understanding things that others might overlook. One of these is her relationship with Camilla. The young princess can see aspects that other members of the royal family may have missed, creating a difference in how she understands and interacts with other family members. Princess Charlotte stands out not only for her appearance and behavior, but also for her ability to understand emotions without verbal communication. She has an exceptional ability to assess situations and quickly respond to unspoken tensions, adjusting her actions quietly, demonstrating maturity beyond her years. Palace staff often gossip about how Charlotte constantly observes and pays attention to nonverbal cues, such as body language, eye movements, and nuances in speech. When around Queen Camilla, Charlotte is never rude or rebellious, but there is a noticeable distance between them. The young princess always waits for guidance when interacting with Camilla and tends to stand close to her mother, Duchess Catherine, during public appearances. Every time Camilla enters the room, Charlotte appears tense and cautious, subtly observing her surroundings when no one is looking. Though no one has taught her to behave this way, she does so instinctively, perhaps due to the rumors she may have overheard. Although the royal family has made efforts to move past the past, their home remains haunted by the memories of Princess Diana. Even though Diana is no longer with them, she still resides in the family's spiritual home, evident in photographs, conversations about her, and the shift in atmosphere when her name is mentioned. Charlotte may not have met her grandmother, but she is aware of the love people have for Diana, and she can sense the change in the air when Camilla is mentioned. The warmth is replaced by caution, and at times discomfort, something that does not escape Charlotte's attention. One quiet afternoon at Kensington Palace, Charlotte spoke up about her feelings toward Queen Camilla. When there were no public events, she surprised her parents, William and Catherine, by seriously stating that Camilla treated her differently when no one else was around. Charlotte candidly shared that on one occasion, Camilla made a hurtful comment about her father. William and Catherine, initially unsure of how to react, soon realized the seriousness of her words when Charlotte explained further. Some who are familiar with the palace situation believe that Princess Charlotte may have seen the letter written by Queen Elizabeth for her. The letter was given to Charlotte discreetly with no ceremony or grand announcement. Those closest to the Queen knew that it held deep significance. It's possible that the message in the letter made Charlotte feel a sense of duty to behave clearly and truthfully, to assess situations accurately when needed, and that this will be crucial in the future. After Charlotte shared her feelings, things began to change within the palace. William and Catherine became more attentive to their daughter. Palace staff were instructed to keep Charlotte close to one of the parents when she was near Camilla. This rule was not made public, but was enforced discreetly. These changes were not apparent to those outside the royal family, as the family is very skilled at keeping secrets from the public. Princess Charlotte has become involved in the internal workings of the royal family, reflecting her influence on decisions within the palace. Prince William and Duchess Catherine have created a warm home where emotions are shared and making mistakes is acceptable. This marks a significant shift from the strict upbringing of previous generations. William wants Charlotte to feel comfortable being herself and to express her thoughts freely. While she is still young, Charlotte is already confident in how she carries herself, showing kindness and curiosity, and understanding that a title is not as important as having a good character. What do you think about the change in parenting style of Prince William and Princess Catherine? Could Princess Charlotte be a new role model for the royal family's next generation? If you believe values like freedom and good character are important, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more interesting royal stories. William is not just a father, but also updating the monarchy through the way he raises his children, helping them gain a proper understanding of the world. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla has had a unique journey joining the royal family. Unlike other royal members, she entered at the age of 50 when the public was not openly welcoming, and many held negative views about her. Camilla had to work hard to earn trust and build a character that is beloved by many. She does not seek to stand out, but instead chooses a discreet approach, following the rules without drawing attention. Camilla, once seen as far from the typical princess in a fairy tale, had to carve her own path. Through tireless effort, she has become a calm and respected figure alongside King Charles III. Her journey has been slow and measured, but Camilla has found a way to carry herself gracefully, subtly donning the crown. This proves her reliability, which has now become her greatest strength. Princess Charlotte has a unique perspective on the royal family, one that isn't shaped by old news or history. She looks at the present situation and acts based on her intuition. Charlotte isn't afraid to express even her smallest emotions, and even the most ordinary moments of being a little sister are noticed by those around her. For example, at Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, when her brother Prince George was reportedly teasing her, Charlotte reacted like any typical younger sister with a sharp look. However, a notable event occurred later when Camilla, standing nearby, appeared displeased and whispered to Catherine to take Charlotte away for a moment. This lack of sensitivity on a day filled with emotion surprised many, especially given the recent passing of Queen Elizabeth. It may have been a difficult and confusing moment for Charlotte. After King Charles III's coronation, Charlotte stood by her family and bowed to her grandfather. However, she did not do the same for Camilla, possibly because she did not pick up the signal or because she felt uneasy. Although Charlotte is often praised as a confident and graceful young girl, these small moments reflect a certain caution and distance between her and Camilla. This is not dislike or conflict, but rather profound questions posed by the younger generation about roles and relationships within the royal family. Charlotte is still learning how to adjust her actions based on her intuition and perception, and these gestures do not indicate disrespect, but simply her awareness of the situations around her. Princess Charlotte may never voice her questions, but she is undoubtedly reflecting on what it means to be royal in today's world. Is it still based on tradition, or does it involve actions and the impact on how others perceive you? Charlotte lives in a royal family where she witnesses gradual changes that influence the way she views the world around her. In April 2025, Queen Camilla and King Charles made an official visit to Italy and the Vatican. This special occasion marked their 20th wedding anniversary and included a meeting with Pope Francis during a religious event. Camilla demonstrated calmness and respect throughout the trip, recognizing the significance of the visit and taking part in activities related to the Holy Year. It was the first time she stepped out from behind and confidently embraced her position. Camilla's story is one of adapting to a new environment and gradually gaining recognition within the royal family, where she was not warmly welcomed at first. She has become a calm figure, recognized and respected alongside King Charles. Although this process has been slow and discreet, she has proven herself to be reliable, and this reliability has now become her greatest strength. Although Camilla and Charlotte live in the same palace, each has distinct experiences. Camilla has grown stronger through challenges, while Charlotte was raised in an environment that allowed her to thrive without losing her individuality. However, everything changed when Charlotte overheard a conversation between Camilla and someone else about Prince William, a remark that made her start seeing her grandmother differently. One day, while the adults thought they were alone, Charlotte happened to be nearby and overheard some of Camilla's words. One sentence stood out to her: "Charles should stay king as long as possible. William isn't ready." Camilla's words struck Charlotte as cold and dismissive, though she didn't fully grasp their meaning. Later, when Charlotte shared this with her mother, Princess Catherine, Her mother's calm response made Charlotte realize this was a more serious matter than she had thought. Catherine noticed the shift in the atmosphere and immediately sensed the weight of what Charlotte had shared. Camilla's words weren't just about William's future as a king. They felt personal. They suggested that someone close might not support the royal family's path forward. This led Charlotte to view Camilla in a new light, with a deeper understanding of her family and how things worked in the palace. As time passed, Charlotte began noticing things she hadn't before. Though Camilla appeared caring and affectionate with her grandchildren, smiling and holding their hands, there was always a sense of distance between her and Charlotte. It wasn't rejection or cruelty, but a polite formal separation. At public events, Charlotte stayed closer to her mother, lacking any real warmth or connection with Camilla. Though these moments didn't show outright dislike or conflict, they revealed deeper questions that young people like Charlotte grapple with. Camilla's lack of closeness with her wasn't overt, but it was part of Charlotte's growing awareness of the royal family and its internal dynamics. The changes in her behavior reflected a maturing perspective as she began to process and evaluate her experiences. Despite the royal family appearing perfect in the public eye, photos of unity and happiness couldn't fully reflect the truth behind the scenes. Charlotte began to realize that these images only showed a superficial facade. She understood that within the royal family, there were hidden truths the adults rarely discussed. Charlotte gradually learned that what mattered wasn't the titles, but the genuine emotions behind the pictures. Though Camilla appeared calm and respectful in conversations with the royal children, Charlotte still sensed a distance between them. Camilla's attempts at small talk felt forced, lacking the playful banter or ease in her interactions with Charlotte, George, and Louis. Catherine, aware of the cautious dynamic between Camilla and her children, never pushed Charlotte to sit close to Camilla or suggested they spend time alone together. Catherine understood that trust couldn't be forced, creating a space where Charlotte could naturally express herself. One quiet evening, Charlotte told her parents, William and Catherine, that Camilla didn't want her father, Prince William, to become king. Charlotte recalled the conversation she overheard where Camilla said William wasn't ready and that Charles should remain king longer. As she shared this, the room grew heavy, and Catherine looked visibly pale. William displayed a range of emotions from shock to protectiveness. It was clear that Charlotte had picked up on the situation and grasped the gravity of what she had heard. The conversation between Charlotte and her parents wasn't about punishing her for eavesdropping, but about keeping her safe. What Charlotte uncovered went beyond a minor argument, revealing that Camilla might have a profound influence on secretive decisions. It was a reminder that in powerful families, truth can start as a quiet secret, but will eventually come to light, and Charlotte was learning to see that truth clearly. Charlotte was no longer just a girl in pretty dresses waving to crowds from the palace balcony. She had grown into a quiet listener and observer. Her small actions, like noticing shifts in the atmosphere when Camilla entered or picking up on hushed conversations, showed she was taking on a more significant role in the royal family. Charlotte not only saw things adults might overlook, but also understood emotions without needing words. The story of the Spencer tiara, the sparkling jewel famously worn by Princess Diana on her wedding day, stirred considerable excitement in the palace. Unlike the official royal collection, this tiara held immense sentimental value. Kept within the Spencer family for generations, it was reserved for significant family occasions. Now the tiara is to be passed to Princess Charlotte, Diana's first granddaughter, as a tribute to the aunt she never knew. Though many supported the decision, Queen Camilla was displeased with the news about the tiara. She felt that passing the tiara to Charlotte would symbolize a bridge between Diana's past and future, something Camilla couldn't fully embrace. Camilla had worked to establish her place in the royal family, but the tiara stirred unavoidable memories of Diana and her complex ties with the Spencer family. Camilla's reaction wasn't just about jewelry or tradition. It ran deeper, tied to something she had faced alone for a long time, the memory of Princess Diana. Diana remained a towering figure in the royal family and the public's eyes. Camilla felt Diana's legacy loomed large, easily perpetuated through potent symbols like the tiara. Charlotte inheriting it seemed an inevitable step in preserving Diana's legacy, something Camilla had yet to fully reconcile with. Though young and without an official role in the monarchy, Charlotte was emerging as a key figure in the royal family. No grand speeches or ceremonies marked this, but her presence was growing stronger and more noticeable. She had a unique talent for connecting with others, not through words, but through her actions and expressions. Small gestures like caring for her younger brother inspired confidence in the royal family's future, and Charlotte was increasingly seen as a model of compassion and optimism for a new generation. Queen Camilla has spent years carving out her place in the royal world, quietly working alongside King Charles and patiently supporting him through challenging times. She has focused on meaningful causes like literacy programs and aiding women in crisis, but has never fully won public acceptance. Despite her significant role in practical duties in the eyes of many, she still hasn't completely claimed the position she aspires to within the royal family. Though the public saw unity in the royal family through staged photos, the palace corridors were filled with unspoken emotions and unacknowledged tensions. Charlotte was becoming more attuned to what lay behind the smiles and formal gestures. She realized the royal family wasn't just about pretty pictures, but a web of complex relationships and potential threats from major decisions like passing the Spencer tiara to her. Despite her youth, Princess Charlotte has left a lasting impression on people. Each time she appears in a new outfit, her photos quickly spread across websites, sparking lively discussions. Charlotte doesn't seek attention, but she naturally becomes the focal point. Those in the palace acknowledge her unique quality, a subtle charm, and innate grace. This is part of who she is, and her presence radiates effortlessly, requiring no training or special effort. Since her birth, Charlotte has carried forward Princess Diana's legacy in her own way. While the family holds deep respect and affection for Diana, William and Catherine have ensured their children understand she was not just a royal figure, but a real person. Charlotte doesn't see Diana as merely a portrait or a name. She recognizes her as a vital part of her world. Family stories and videos about Diana have helped Charlotte grasp the importance of compassion and authenticity. Charlotte seems to embody Diana's compassion with a unique ability to sense others' emotions. If someone appears tired or sad, she notices immediately and offers comfort without prompting. Princess Catherine is guiding Charlotte to be thoughtful and empathetic while fostering her emotional resilience and compassionate leadership. Charlotte not only understands her role in the royal family, but also recognizes how she can positively shape the monarchy's future. A defining moment in Charlotte's journey to maturity was receiving a letter from Queen Elizabeth II at Balmoral. The letter's contents remain a mystery. Some believe it's unopened, others think Charlotte may have read it. Regardless, the letter symbolizes the passing of wisdom, trust, and authority from one royal woman to another. It marked a significant milestone for Charlotte, signifying the continuation of Diana's legacy and a new chapter for the monarchy. Princess Charlotte not only stays true to herself, but also inspires others with her authenticity, inner strength, and composure. Though Camilla currently wears the crown, Charlotte's influence is growing, and she is emerging as a new role model for the monarchy. The public senses Charlotte's uniqueness. She doesn't need to perform or deceive. She presents herself sincerely. Her perceptiveness and listening skills make her a significant figure in the royal family. Princess Charlotte has brought a fresh breeze to the monarchy. Her honesty and composure inspire trust in the royal family's future. Charlotte doesn't try to replace anyone. She simply lives authentically in her role. She is emerging as a potential leader with compassion and a knack for forging strong connections in a royal family, often bound by protocol over emotion. With all the changes and development that Charlotte is bringing, do you believe she has the potential to become a great queen in the future? What do you think about Princess Charlotte's growing influence? Share your thoughts in the comments below the video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on more interesting videos. Make sure to click on the video displayed on your screen. Welcome to our channel. A royal scandal was on the verge of exploding, but it was narrowly averted by one fearless woman, Princess Anne. Recently uncovered from the private chambers of Buckingham Palace, her secret diary exposes a stunning conspiracy, an attempt to undermine Duchess Kate Middleton during a major public charity event. Late-night inquiries, unspoken warnings, and a sharp instinct shaped by a lifetime in the public eye, Princess Anne shielded her niece from danger without ever stepping into the spotlight. Now, long-buried journal entries have surfaced, revealing this wasn't mere family loyalty. It was a stealthy royal intervention. Subscribe to our channel for untold royal revelations. And if you're ready to dive into the palace's best-kept secrets, drop a 1 in the comments below. Hints of betrayal hidden in plain view right within the walls of Buckingham Palace. Beneath centuries of protocol and restraint, a secret waited to surface. It was found in an aged leather-bound journal tucked inside a drawer labeled "Only Private." The writer, Princess Anne. And within its pages, not just memories, but bombshells exposing a long-suppressed scheme meant to bring down Duchess Kate from within the palace ranks. The original plan seemed harmless, a charity gala, Kate's big speech with global attention. This was a crucial moment to showcase her growing royal role. But Anne's diary tells a different story, one where the backstage corridors buzzed with silent schemes. Assistants had subtly altered Kate's speech, changing phrases that might embarrass or unsettle her on stage. The stage lighting was adjusted to cast uncomfortable shadows, and the pathway to the stage was rearranged at the last minute just enough to throw her off without raising suspicion. Anne's earliest diary entries reveal confusion, then growing worry. She overheard a late-night conversation between two staff members, whispering about making the event memorable in a bad way. At first, Anne didn't think much of it, but as changes unfolded, she realized they were plotting against Kate. The writing sharpened, her handwriting rushed. They're setting a trap for her to fail. The discovery weighed heavily on her. This wasn't politics. It was personal, and the target wasn't just any royal, it was the future queen, a wife and a mother. Anger welled up inside Anne. The plan wasn't to destroy Kate, but to make her stumble appear inexperienced. Just one misstep or a moment of hesitation in public and doubt would spread. She had seen this game before, but never so close. Anne could have told Charles or called William, but she didn't, knowing that if even a few people found out, the scandal would spiral out of control. Instead, she took up her pen and vowed to herself, "This ends with me." The deeper Anne dug, the more profoundly betrayed she felt. Her diary shifted from sharp observations to intense emotions, anger, and hurt. She had spent her life serving the royal family quietly, steering clear of palace drama, never seeking the spotlight. But now what she saw wasn't royal duty. It was underhanded politics fueled by jealousy. Names began to appear in the diary, close aides, event organizers, reputation managers, now rewriting scripts, tweaking sound, deliberately sabotaging logistics. The goal wasn't destruction, but gradual erosion, undermining Kate's credibility through small mistakes, technical glitches, and whispers. Anne wrote plainly, "This is not correction. This is sabotage." Kate's speech, prepared over weeks, was edited to make her appear flustered phrases, removed context, changed, setting her up to stumble, look anxious, or weak, especially with cameras capturing every moment. Anne couldn't believe this was happening in a family so focused on image and control. She checked the event plan, reread internal memos, watched how staff moved when they thought no one was looking. Every detail matched what she wrote in her diary. This wasn't careless mistake, it was a slow ambush. The diary was full of restrained anger. Sabotaging a charity debut meant to support the vulnerable shows how low things have sunk. Time was running out, and the gala was fast approaching. No one else would stop this. William was away on a diplomatic trip, Charles was tied up in meetings, and Camilla was too caught up in political turmoil to intervene. Anne decided to do what no one else dared: choose loyalty over silence. She wouldn't let her niece walk into disaster, nor did she want to divide the family by involving others. The diary records her decision. "I will act quietly, completely alone if necessary." The palace was quiet, but Anne couldn't sleep. All day she reviewed the progress, spotting the final warning signs. That night she took action. The diary begins with the line, "I can no longer stand by and watch." Anne entered the assistant's office after everyone had left, only the sound of her footsteps echoing in the silence. She chose her moment carefully. On the assistant's desk lay the final sabotage plan, Kate's speech with disruptive notes, lighting instructions, and a changed stage layout designed to disorient her under the spotlight. Anne didn't hesitate. When the aide returned, they stood still. Looking at her, the aide understood. Anne didn't scold, just handed the document back and whispered, "Tell me this is a mistake." The aide stammered in denial, evasive, but Anne knew the truth. She had seen too many lies in the palace to see right through it. This wasn't political. It was personal, a blow to the most vulnerable member of the royal family. Anne's next step wasn't revenge, but correction. She gathered all the altered documents, took them to a private room, and arranged to replace the team organizing the speech. She didn't threaten or make demands. She just left the assistant standing there stunned, knowing the plan had been uncovered. The diary entry at the end of the day reads, "This ends here, not tomorrow or later, but right now, to protect Kate's moment." Starting the next day, Anne took full control. She quietly replaced 2 key assistants, with trusted, experienced people, no meetings or explanations, just orders given and close monitoring. Anne's influence didn't rely on power or pressure. It spread naturally. She personally oversaw the lighting setup, measured the distance from each light to the podium, and even spoke privately with the sound technician to ensure no mishaps like Kate's mic cutting out mid-speech. In her diary, Anne called it meticulous protection. When Kate arrived to rehearse, she had no idea she'd nearly faced disaster. She greeted Anne with a gentle grace, and Anne simply smiled, revealing none of the silent battle that had taken place. She had fought quietly for her standing back as her niece practiced the speech, now restored to its original tone, sincerity intact. From behind the curtain, Anne watched every pause, every expression. Kate was radiant, steady, flawless, no stumbles, no hesitation. This was the moment the public would see, but Anne had witnessed the moment that almost happened, the trap she'd dismantled before it had a chance to catch its victim. The next line in her diary reads, "The speech was hers, but the silence about what almost happened is mine." On gala night, Anne stayed backstage, watching the crowd rise to applaud. She didn't step out, there was no need. She had fulfilled her duty, and her reward was witnessing Kate shine exactly as she deserved. Anne's quiet victory. The press called it a perfect evening. The Daily Herald ran the headline, "Catherine Captivates at the Gala." Royal reporters praised her grace, confidence, and natural charm. No one suspected the plan that nearly ruined everything, because it was the plan itself that almost did. Anne didn't save the gala night for recognition. She did it to protect Kate. In her final entry about the event, Anne quietly reflected, "There will be no medals for this, no stories told, no thanks given." And that was exactly how it was. She knew that if even one detail was off, one light misaligned, or one word misunderstood, the story would change, the press would speculate, and critics would dissect it. But none of that happened. The plot never reached Kate because Anne didn't let it. The next day, the palace went on as if nothing had changed, and to everyone else it truly seemed that way, but Anne knew better. She had faced betrayal and extinguished it before it made a sound. She didn't tell Charles, didn't tell William, not even the whole truth to Kate. She ended her entry with a single thought: let her remember that night as her own, and I will remember it as what almost happened. Then she closed the diary and locked it away. In the quiet after the gala, Anne sat alone in her room, reflecting on what she hadn't done and who she hadn't told. Prince William's name didn't appear once in the diary pages leading up to the event, and that wasn't by chance. The decision to exclude him was deliberate, not out of mistrust, but strategy. Anne's diary was clear: involving William would stir up turmoil, not provide a shield. She worried he'd feel obligated to act, to question, to report. That turmoil would turn into confrontation, and confrontation would drag Catherine into the fire instead of protecting her from it. William was unwaveringly loyal to his wife, no doubt about that, but he was also the heir to the throne, trained to prioritize stability above all else. Anne knew the moment he heard the word plot, he'd immediately raise the alarm. He'd demand explanations, challenge the assistants, and might even drag Charles into it. The whole thing would spiral into a front-page scandal before anyone had a chance to fix it. That's why Anne kept him out of the loop. She remembered a special moment William called after the speech, his voice proud, gentle, full of admiration. "You were born for this," he told Kate. Anne stood quietly across the room, unseen. She said nothing, didn't interrupt. That moment was pure, free from palace politics, and she intended to keep it that way. She feared that if William knew, he might question everything: his staff, their judgment, even his own trust in those around him. Worse, it could make Kate feel vulnerable, as if her success wasn't truly hers but orchestrated. Anne refused to allow that. She bore the burden alone. In her diary, she wrote plainly, "I choose silence not out of weakness, but as a gift." Protecting Kate also meant shielding William from distraction, division, and doubt, keeping the spotlight where it belonged on Catherine, who was growing stronger every day. Power often comes with titles, media attention, or grand ceremonies, but Anne needed none of that. Her power came from steadfastness, from refusing to waver, from staying out of gossip and boasting. Her diary after the gala revealed a woman whose greatest strength was silence. Anne mastered the art of influence without stepping into the spotlight. She craved no fame, sought no admiration, yet her behind-the-scenes impact was undeniable. One diary entry reads, "If I speak, they will listen. If I move, they will follow. I only choose when." That restraint became her trademark. After the near-successful plot, Anne wielded that silent power like a scalpel. She made no formal accusations, stirred no disciplinary investigations. Instead, she quietly but decisively pushed for personnel changes. One assistant reassigned abroad, another moved to a less prominent role. Her guidance was gentle but final. No traces left behind, only resolution. She protected her niece and the crown with the same hand. The diary clearly captured this duality. This family needs warriors who don't swing swords in the spotlight. She was that warrior and always would be. Not for recognition, but to hold the fortress steady while others fussed over the paint. Anne's influence didn't cause waves, but it changed the current. What impressed Anne the most wasn't the plot itself, but the risk it carried. The gala wasn't just any public event, it was Catherine's debut in a higher royal role. Cameras, foreign diplomats, global press, all eyes were watching. Anne described that moment in her diary with precision. Just one mistake could cast doubt on her advancement. Just one slip of the tongue could make them question her place. Catherine had built her reputation through grace and consistency, but Anne knew public support was fragile. Just one mistake, one awkward phrase, one poorly timed pause, especially for a woman stepping into greater power. The world can be ruthless, and the press unforgiving. That's what made the plot so dangerous. It wasn't just palace infighting, it was a direct threat to Kate's career. If the plot had succeeded, it wouldn't just be an embarrassing moment, it would cast doubt on her readiness, confidence, and even her authenticity. Anne's diary pages were filled with urgency in the days before the event. What do you think about this story? Is it just a rumor, or is there really a hidden plot threatening Kate's future? If you're fascinated by royal mysteries and want to uncover the truth behind the glamour, comment 2 below. But if you think it's all blown out of proportion and not worth worrying about, leave a 5. We rate every comment, and who knows, your opinion might shape the next chapter. "We are not protecting a speech," she wrote. "We are protecting an era." And she meant it, because Catherine wasn't merely reading lines. She was shaping her image, presenting herself not just as a duchess, but as a future queen. By preserving that moment, Anne protected more than just Kate's knight. She safeguarded the future of the crown. The factions within the palace became clear once the applause died down. Anne returned to her diary with a warning tone. The plot was no accident, born not of boredom or ego, but from deep divisions, real factions forming behind closed doors. She wrote about whispered conversations, strategic alliances between long-standing aides and newly appointed ones, and two quiet but clear factions, those loyal to Camilla's circle and those supporting Catherine's vision. It began subtly conflicting memos, overlapping bookings, overlapping priorities, but now it was escalating. The sabotage wasn't just about undermining Catherine. It was about maintaining influence, ensuring the spotlight didn't shift too quickly or for too long. Anne's diary reveals her frustration but not surprise. She had seen this before during Diana's rise and at Charles's lowest points. The palace wasn't always about unity. Sometimes it even eroded that very unity. What made it dangerous, though, was the calculated intent behind it. The conspirators weren't trying to publicly disgrace Kate, that would be too obvious and risky. Instead, they aimed for a subtle misstep, just enough to sow doubt, shake confidence, and stir insecurity in public perception. Anne doesn't name anyone publicly, but in her diary she is precise. She understands the long game and is now tracking every move. The palace isn't at war, but the lines are being drawn, lessons in leadership as the dust begins to settle. Anne's thoughts gradually shift toward philosophy, moving away from damage control. She no longer writes about sabotage, but about leadership. Her conclusion is simple. True leadership doesn't make noise, demand applause, or issue ultimatums. Leadership acts with clarity, restraint, and unwavering purpose. What Anne did for Catherine, stepping in, stepping back, moving pieces quietly without anyone knowing, is her very definition of leadership. You lead best, she wrote, when no one knows you are leading. She hoped Catherine would never know the full story because the victory would mean more if she believed it was her own achievement. Anne did not seek gratitude. She wanted to leave a legacy, and part of that legacy was teaching through action. In the final line of that week's diary, Anne left a message not just for herself, but perhaps for Kate one day. What I protect quietly. What I love, I shield completely. And with that, she closed the page. Anne's diary grew softer in the final pages of the event. The words no longer carried the weight of confrontation or strategy, but instead reflected something more complex, deeply emotional. She had protected Catherine with precision, yet now she wondered if Kate would ever truly know what had been done for her. Anne had never told Kate directly. After the gala, they shared a quiet moment backstage. Kate embraced her with heartfelt gratitude, thanking her for being there. Anne simply smiled and nodded, but behind that gesture was a shield, a mission of rescue, and a series of silent decisions that had quietly changed the course of the evening. In her diary, Anne revealed her inner conflict. She deserves to know, but I need her to believe she did it all on her own. That belief is crucial. Once confidence wavers, it's hard to regain. Anne didn't want Kate to doubt every future victory, to wonder who was behind the scenes pulling strings. She wanted her to walk confidently, completely unaware of the moment she nearly stumbled. But she also admitted that one day, Kate might find the diary or hear the story from someone else. That thought unsettled Anne. Would Kate feel betrayed? Would it diminish the value of her victory or deepen the bond between them, showing that Anne did everything to protect her? That question lingered in Anne's final reflections on the matter. She wrote something different, not strategy or observation, but a truth. Sometimes love means letting others take the credit. Sometimes it means stepping aside after you've paved the way. Her silence was a gift, but the burden was hers alone to bear. After the event had passed, Anne once again focused her mind on the diary, which recorded everything, every risk, every decision, every quiet detail. One morning she glanced at its spine and wondered what would happen if it fell into the wrong hands. She had never wanted it to become evidence or spark a scandal. It was a repository of memories, a private space of truth, not a trigger for trouble. But now she could no longer deny its power. Every line was a story the public would never hear, every page a deep insight into how the palace operated alliances, vulnerabilities, and silent betrayals. She wrestled with the thought of whether to keep it secret or reveal it. Would revealing it honor Catherine or harm her? Would it expose loyalty or ignite a new spiral of chaos? Anne was not afraid of exposure, but she respected caution. "The diary is a mirror," she wrote, "and some reflections are not meant for the drawing room." Yet part of her still wondered, if the monarchy needed more mirrors, more honesty, if more people could see what I see, perhaps the conspiracy wouldn't have happened. Maybe there would be fewer factions, less fear, fewer games. The question remained unanswered. The diary was carefully returned to the drawer, locked away but not buried. She left one final note on its spine: not to be destroyed, but to be handled with care, for the truth, when unprotected, can either heal or shatter. Anne always believed that legacy is not built through speeches or ceremonies, but in the quiet moments no one sees the unspoken decisions. As she penned the final lines in her diary, she realized the full picture of what she had done. She hadn't just saved a speech, she had protected the future not only of Kate, but of the entire monarchy. The scheme aimed to undermine Catherine's image as she stepped more clearly into the spotlight, but Anne did the opposite, reinforcing that image in everyone's eyes. It was not just an act of protection, but also of guidance. She gave Kate something no one had given her when she was young, and under pressure she stood in the shadows, shielding her granddaughter. Anne didn't need anyone to know about it, but she hoped the spirit of what she had done would echo, reminding everyone in the palace that loyalty is not just a rule or bloodline, but an act, steadfast, quiet, and enduring protection. She ended the last page with 4 lines of poetry written with the intent of unwavering strength. She walks onto the stage with strength. I walk through the palace with resolve. They will remember her smile, but I will remember why it's still there. And with that, the journal closes, not a story of drama, but a testament to duty, love, and the silent power of standing guard when it truly matters. The moment of Princess Catherine was almost taken away, but Princess Anne made sure it remained hers. The public never saw the danger that was by design: a quiet journal, a silent guardian, and a legacy of loyalty that may never be spoken but will never be forgotten. Some heroes never stand in the center of the stage. What do you think about Princess Anne's quiet sacrifice? In a world that's always craving attention, can loyalty that doesn't seek the spotlight still be truly valued? If you believe that sometimes the silent ones are the strongest, leave a 0 in the comments below. But if you think that in the royal family, no one is ever truly impartial, type 5 and share your perspective. And if you want to discover more untold stories from the royal court, don't forget to subscribe, because behind every perfect photo, there's always a part of the truth no one has ever shared. Queen Camilla enraged. After Kate caught wearing Diana's most treasured jewelry, the royal drama just got even more intense. Queen Camilla is absolutely furious after Kate was spotted wearing one of Princess Diana's most cherished pieces of jewelry. What does this mean for the royal family? Is this just an innocent gesture or a bold statement? What do you think this move means for the royal dynamics? If you think Kate's decision is a game changer, leave a 1 in the comments. If you're not sure, leave a 0 and let's discuss. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest royal drama. Let's dive into this story now. Last night at the grandest royal party of the year, a special moment captured everyone's attention when Duchess Kate stepped out wearing the tiara most beloved by Princess Diana. While everyone had expected a quiet evening, that moment completely shifted the atmosphere. Kate in the sparkling tiara silenced the entire room, and instantly all eyes were on her. Was it just a piece of jewelry or a powerful message filled with love and royal memories? This left many people pondering. The tiara was not just a beautiful accessory, it also evoked memories of a deeply meaningful past. When Duchess Kate entered Diana's tiara, not only made her look stunning, but also sparked powerful memories of the late princess. Kate's appearance in this tiara was not merely a fashion choice. It served as a reminder of Princess Diana's lasting influence and her indelible presence in royal history. As soon as Queen Camilla entered the room, she looked flawless in her own tiara. However, her gaze quickly landed on the tiara atop Kate's head. A brief moment of hesitation appeared in her steps, her smile fading, and it was only after that everyone could sense a shift in the atmosphere. Camilla tried to hide her emotions, but those nearby noticed that she was deeply moved. For the first time, the tiara wasn't just jewelry. It evoked memories of a past and a legacy of a woman she could never replace. This tiara is not only beautiful, but also carries with it a deeply emotional history. For those who understand royal traditions, they know that every piece of jewelry holds profound significance. This tiara, once belonging to Diana, is now more than just an ornamental item. It is a symbol of love, memory, and greatness. When Kate wore that tiara, everything suddenly became quiet, solemn, as if it conveyed a message that Camilla could not deny. For Camilla, that tiara was not just a simple piece of jewelry. It symbolized a relationship, a legacy that she could never have. When she noticed Diana's tiara on Kate's head, emotions surged within her. It was more than just a choice of adornment. That tiara was a clear sign of Kate's position within the royal family, and that reality made Camilla uncomfortable. Although she always maintained grace and elegance, it was undeniable that the tiara had stirred an inevitable confrontation within her. In the end, the tiara shone not only with its stunning diamonds, but also carried an unspoken message. It was a reflection of the past, of memories of Diana that no one could replace. For Camilla, this tiara was a profound message she could not respond to, as that legacy and love will always belong to Diana. When Kate wore the tiara, everything felt more intimate and personal than ever before. It was not just a piece of jewelry, it was a reminder of what has passed and of the things that will never change. The knot tiara is not just a sparkling piece of jewelry, but it also carries a deep and painful meaning. When Duchess Catherine wore this tiara, it was not just a symbol of royal beauty, but also a reminder of the unforgettable memories of Princess Diana. This tiara had once been Diana's favorite piece, worn during some of her most memorable moments, and as Catherine donned it, the atmosphere around them seemed to grow heavier. It didn't just shine with sparkling diamonds, but also revived a past that many thought had been forgotten. For Queen Camilla, that tiara is a reminder of a role she was never allowed to step into, though she has become queen consort. It's undeniable that the past between Diana and Charles still haunts her. When she saw Catherine wearing Diana's tiara, Camilla couldn't help but feel a deep discomfort. The tiara was not just jewelry, but a symbol of the greatness and love that Diana had once received. For Camilla, it was a painful message reminding her that no matter how much time passes, the public's affection will always remain with Diana. The knot tiara is not just a beautiful piece of royal jewelry, but it also carries the weight of a legacy. Many in the palace believe this tiara was Diana's invisible shield, making her strong even in her most difficult moments. When Catherine wore this tiara, it wasn't just a fashion choice, it was a reimagining of a story that has become embedded in the hearts of the public. For Camilla, seeing Catherine wear Diana's tiara might have felt like an unavoidable reminder that she would never inherit that legacy. When Catherine wore the tiara, it wasn't just the admiring gazes at her beauty, but also a profound sense of the connection the tiara symbolized. It evoked memories of Diana and what she had brought to the royal family. While Camilla may have the right to wear royal jewelry, the emotional bond Catherine shares with the public cannot be replicated. It's not just an accessory. That tiara is a story the public still cherishes, a story tied to the grace and affection that Diana created. So how did this tiara end up in the hands of Duchess Catherine? When Queen Elizabeth passed away, the palace announced that her private jewelry collection would be divided according to a strict royal procedure. Camilla, as queen consort, was given the first choice, but the knot tiara was not one she had the right to possess. It wasn't a personal favor, but a royal protocol. In this process, the selection of jewelry was determined by rank and status, and this special tiara was granted to Catherine. When Duchess Catherine stepped in and wore Diana's knot tiara, no one could have predicted that this tiara would not belong to Camilla, who was expected to be the one granted the royal jewelry. Regarded as a symbol of power and love, this tiara was not just an accessory, but a reimagining of a past tied to Diana. However, when the tiara was passed to Catherine, many in the palace were surprised. The unspoken connection between Queen Elizabeth and Catherine made this transfer even more significant. Perhaps the Queen wished to honor her daughter-in-law, but others believe this decision had been made long before Camilla began selecting her own royal jewelry. As soon as images of Catherine wearing Diana's beloved tiara were shared, the public immediately expressed their admiration. Many compared her to Diana, and some even believed she was a reflection of the late princess. The praise and comparisons were not only about her appearance, but also the spiritual connection Catherine conveyed. For Camilla, this was far from easy. After years of striving to be accepted by the public, seeing people honor another woman wearing the jewelry so closely tied to Diana was a great challenge. Though Camilla tried to project confidence, it was undeniable that a wave of hurt rose within her. Although Camilla stands at the highest rank in the royal family, Catherine's appearance in the tiara shifted the balance of power. Catherine wasn't just wearing a piece of jewelry, she earned the admiration and love of the public. People didn't just see a princess, but they felt the connection between Catherine and Diana. Meanwhile, Camilla, despite holding an official title, seemed to fade into the background. The tiara was not just an item, it symbolized a shift in influence within the royal family. Catherine had captured the public's heart while Camilla faced the challenge of maintaining her position. Camilla, unwilling to stay silent, reacted to this shift at the next royal event. She stepped out wearing a different tiara. The Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a precious piece once beloved by Queen Elizabeth. This was Camilla's way of proving that she could still represent the stability and tradition of the royal heritage. However, even though she maintained her graceful demeanor and pride with this tiara, the public's attention remained elsewhere. Everyone's gaze was still on Catherine, who had captured the moment with Diana's tiara. Although the tiara Camilla wore still sparkled under the lights, the public's attention was not on it. People no longer discussed the value or beauty of the diamonds in Camilla's tiara. Instead, they remained fixated on the image of Catherine wearing Diana's tiara. This highlights that despite Camilla wearing valuable royal jewelry, the emotions and significance behind them could not compare to the tiara of Diana, a piece of jewelry that is intertwined with a story the public continues to cherish. The difference between Camilla and Catherine is not just about the jewelry, but also how each woman carries the royal legacy. Catherine didn't just wear the tiara, she embraced it and became an inseparable part of Diana's story. For Camilla, things seem more challenging because despite her power and title, Catherine has effortlessly earned the public's affection. This isn't just about the tiara, it's about the bond Catherine has forged with the people. When Duchess Catherine stepped in wearing Diana's beloved tiara, the world immediately responded with admiration and strong emotion. The public didn't just see Catherine wearing a sparkling royal accessory, but also felt a deep connection between her and Diana. This created a stark contrast with Camilla, who may also wear beautiful tiaras, but fails to evoke the same emotional connection as Catherine. Although Camilla holds a high position and official title, the moment Catherine wore that tiara showed that love and public admiration cannot always be measured by rank. For Camilla, seeing Catherine wear Diana's tiara may have brought deep pain. Despite her efforts to appear confident and assert her position, the public's attention was not on her. People continued to compare her to a woman who was no longer here, and this is perhaps what hurt Camilla the most. While she has earned the title of Queen Consort and possesses other magnificent tiaras, the emotional connection the public has with Catherine remains much stronger. In the royal family, it's not just beauty that matters, but strict rules about who can wear a tiara. Each tiara is not just jewelry. It carries the weight of tradition and power. When Catherine wore Diana's tiara, it was not just an acceptance of a royal accessory, but a statement of her role in the royal family. Royal protocols dictate that once a tiara is bestowed upon a royal woman, it belongs to her forever. This means that when Catherine received Diana's tiara, Camilla could never have it, not even once. This transfer was not just about power, but about emotion and the connection with the public. What do you think about this royal rule? Does Catherine wearing Diana's crown carry a deeper message about power and her connection with the public? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think it's a worthy gesture or a sign of shifting power within the royal family? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. When Catherine wore Diana's tiara, it wasn't just the sparkling diamonds, but the memories of a woman the public has never forgotten. Each time Catherine appeared with this tiara, she not only displayed elegance and beauty, but also inherited Diana's legacy. People didn't just see a beautiful tiara, they felt the spirit and heart of Diana through Catherine. That's why every time Catherine wears this tiara, the public senses Diana's strong presence as a continuation of the legacy she left behind. This shift is not just about the tiara or the jewelry, but about the recognition and affection the public has for these two women. While Camilla holds power and a title, it is undeniable that Catherine with Diana's tiara has won the hearts of the people. This highlights a change in influence and the significance of royal symbols. Camilla may have advanced far within the royal family, but Catherine has proven that status doesn't always compare to the love and admiration the public feels for an individual. Duchess Catherine, without saying a word, captured the hearts of the public when she wore Diana's tiara. It wasn't just a sparkling piece of jewelry. It evoked powerful emotions tied to an unforgettable past, and now it seems to belong to Catherine. The admiration the public has for her is not something she strives to earn. It is the result of her composure ability to maintain grace under pressure and her charitable work. Catherine not only inherits Diana's legacy, but also continues to build a deep connection with the public, a bond that Camilla has struggled to achieve. Although Camilla fought hard to secure her position beside King Charles, the public has not embraced her with the same warmth as they have Catherine. This became even more evident when Catherine wore Diana's tiara. While Camilla may wear a tiara just as magnificent, it doesn't evoke the same powerful emotions as when Catherine wears that one. This difference must have been painful, as despite Camilla's power and title, she still cannot earn the love and admiration that Catherine has. It's not just about the tiara, it's about how the world perceives these two women. The tiara is not just royal jewelry, but carries deep emotional power. Each tiara in the royal family has its own set of rules, with only those of high status allowed to wear them. Once a tiara is bestowed upon a royal woman, it stays with her for life. For Catherine, Diana's tiara is not only a beautiful piece of jewelry, but a symbol of love, sacrifice, and spiritual connection. In contrast, for Camilla, while she may wear other valuable tiaras, the affection the public has for Catherine cannot be replicated. The lover's knot tiara is not just a piece of jewelry, but a symbol of a broken love and an unforgettable legacy. First created in 1914, the tiara was selected by Queen Mary and later given to Princess Diana by Queen Elizabeth II as a wedding gift. Diana wore this tiara at important events and during some of the most challenging moments of her life. Though the tiara sparkled, it was also heavy and difficult to wear, much like the challenging life Diana faced within the royal family. Yet she wore it with grace, and over time, this tiara became a symbol of her quiet strength. After Diana's passing, the tiara disappeared from the public eye as if it too carried the sorrow of her loss. However, in 2015, something unexpected happened when Duchess Catherine wore Diana's tiara. That moment shocked royal watchers, as if Diana returned not physically but spiritually. Catherine wasn't just wearing a royal tiara, she revived the deep emotions and memories of Diana. For the public, this tiara wasn't just about style or the sparkle of diamonds. It was about the rebirth of Diana's spirit and legacy, making it all the more special and meaningful. Although Camilla holds the title of Queen Consort and power within the royal family, public acceptance is something she has yet to achieve to the extent Catherine has. She may have the tiara's estates and all the royal ceremonies, but the affection and admiration the public has for Catherine cannot be compared. Each time Catherine appears wearing Diana's tiara, the public doesn't just see her as a duchess, but as someone continuing Diana's legacy. This cannot be bought with rank or title. It is only the result of a genuine emotional connection, something Camilla will never have. When Duchess Catherine wore Diana's lover's knot tiara, it wasn't just the appearance of a sparkling royal accessory, but a deeply emotional moment. This tiara belonged not only to Diana, but also symbolized love and sacrifice. For the public, the tiara was not just an ornament, but a spiritual connection to the past. When Catherine wore it, people felt that she was not only carrying Diana's story, but also continuing her legacy. This tiara, though not the most expensive piece of jewelry, holds the deepest spiritual value, a part of royal history that only Catherine could continue. Although Camilla is Queen Consort and has the right to choose from the priceless heirlooms of Queen Elizabeth, the lover's knot tiara did not fall into her hands. This caused surprise within the palace, as many thought that Camilla, with her position, would be the first to receive such an item. However, the tiara was given to Duchess Catherine. This decision may have stemmed from Queen Elizabeth's emotional connection to Catherine, or from the quiet support of King Charles, who likely wanted the memory of his late wife to be preserved through his son's current wife. This was not just about power or titles, but about a deep emotional connection. Royal treasures are not just about the value of the items, but also about the stories and meanings behind them. Duchess Catherine has received many precious items from Queen Elizabeth's collection, such as brooches, necklaces, and accessories linked to Princess Margaret. However, the biggest difference is that emotionally valuable items like Diana's tiara were not passed to Camilla. This not only caused Camilla to be less in the spotlight, but also added a sense of disappointment. Despite enduring many challenges to earn her position as queen consort, when the moment to shine came, it was Catherine who stepped into the light, having captured the hearts of the public. Catherine didn't just wear Diana's tiara, she became the one to carry on Diana's legacy within the royal family. People didn't just see a tiara, they felt Diana's spirit and kindness through Catherine. The admiration for Catherine comes not just from her outer beauty, but from her grace and ability to remain composed under pressure. When Catherine wore that tiara, the public didn't just see a duchess. They saw Diana revived in a new generation, continuing to shine and bring sincere affection to everyone. Although Camilla holds official power and a grand tiara, the public's attention still doesn't focus on her in the same way it does on Catherine. Each time Catherine wears Diana's tiara, people don't just see a duchess. They feel a deep connection to an invaluable legacy. Camilla may wear precious royal tiaras, but it's undeniable that the public's affection for Catherine cannot be measured by power or title. That's why every time Catherine appears with this tiara, it tells an emotional story that no one can deny. The lover's knot tiara, though just a piece of jewelry, carries with it a story full of emotion and history. Created in 1914 and originally intended for Queen Mary, it was passed down to Queen Elizabeth II and later gifted to Princess Diana. This tiara was not only a wedding gift but became a symbol of Diana's strength and resilience during her difficult years within the royal family. And when Catherine wears this tiara, the public doesn't just see a beautiful duchess. They feel a powerful continuation of Diana's legacy, an irreplaceable presence in the hearts of the people. When Duchess Catherine wore Diana's lover's knot tiara, it wasn't just the appearance of a piece of jewelry, but an emotional moment. The natural way she wore the tiara, her composure and posture immediately reminded everyone of Princess Diana. Unlike someone trying to copy Diana's legacy, Catherine is truly continuing it, something that Camilla cannot do. While Camilla may wear dazzling jewelry, the lover's knot tiara, with all its emotion, will always be something she cannot reach. When Catherine wore this tiara, the public's reaction couldn't have been clearer. People began comparing Catherine to Diana, calling her the princess of the modern people, and even dubbing her Queen 2.0. This sentiment could deeply hurt Camilla, as despite her power and title as queen consort, Catherine's light seems to shine brighter. Camilla may wear other tiaras and attend grand events, but when Catherine wears Diana's tiara, all attention is on her. For many, this contrast is no coincidence. It's a silent rivalry between two royal women, and it's clear that Catherine has captured the world's attention. This piece of jewelry is not just a magnificent royal artifact, but also a powerful spiritual symbol. Diana's lover's knot tiara carries with it a deeply emotional and meaningful story. When Catherine wore this tiara, the public didn't just see a beautiful accessory. They felt Diana's spirit continuing to live through her. This isn't just about material value or the sparkle of diamonds. It's about the spiritual connection Catherine has built with the public. People didn't just see a duchess, but someone who is carrying on Diana's legacy. Although Camilla may hold power and a title, the sense of public recognition that Catherine enjoys seems to always be out of her reach. This event is not just about the tiara. It's a reflection of how the world perceives her. Catherine doesn't need to fight for the love and admiration of the public. She naturally earns it through her grace and virtue. While Camilla has struggled for years to gain acceptance, Catherine has obtained it all in just one moment. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away, her jewelry collection was carefully divided following strict rules. Camilla, as queen consort, had the right to choose from the valuable items first. However, the lover's knot tiara did not go to her but was instead given to Catherine. This not only surprised many, but also raised the question of whether this was a decision made by Queen Elizabeth before her passing or if it was a choice quietly supported by King Charles. Those within the palace believe that Queen Elizabeth made this decision based on her strong affection for Catherine and her belief that Catherine was truly the one to continue Diana's legacy. Although Camilla spent many years proving herself and ultimately achieved the position of queen consort, the moment Catherine wore the lover's knot tiara, the public turned away from Camilla. Despite Camilla holding power and a title, she could not capture the admiration of the public in the same way Catherine did. This event was not only a standout moment for Catherine, but also a significant shift in how the public perceives the two women within the royal family. For many, Catherine is now the new symbol of the monarchy, while Camilla seems to remain on the outside, unable to ever truly possess that affection. The moment Catherine wore Diana's tiara was not just a formal act, but a revival of Diana in a new generation. It wasn't just about the tiara or its material value, but about the emotions it evoked. Royal watchers didn't just see Catherine wearing a royal piece of jewelry. They felt Diana's presence through her. That emotion, that connection, is something Camilla can never achieve, no matter how many precious tiaras she wears. What do you think about this surprising moment? Do you believe Kate's decision to wear Princess Diana's most cherished heirloom was a sign of respect or a subtle message to Camilla? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more royal drama. We'll see you in the next video with more juicy details. Hey everyone, get ready for a major shock. The death of Princess Diana remains an unhealed pain, but maybe we've never truly understood it fully. Imagine Prince William and Harry, two strong men, breaking down in tears as the unimaginable is revealed before their eyes. King Charles has unveiled a secret kept hidden for decades, Princess Diana's final wish. A heartfelt and powerful letter that could overturn everything they ever thought about their mother, the royal family, and even the monarchy itself. Why was this wish kept hidden? What does it mean for the two brothers torn apart by their past? This isn't just a royal revelation, it's a moment that could shake the very foundation of the British monarchy. If you find this story surprising, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0. Don't forget to like the video and hit subscribe to support the channel. Let's enjoy the video together. Behind the closed doors of Clarence House, the official residence of King Charles, away from the prying eyes of the media, a moment unfolded that would forever change the course of royal history. King Charles, in a rare and deeply emotional gesture, opened a private safe. The safe is said to have remained untouched for many years. Inside, instead of royal artifacts or state documents, there was a sealed envelope bearing the handwriting of Princess Diana. Charles called his two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Handing them the envelope, he uttered an emotional statement. "This is your mother's final wish. She wrote this for you." The room fell into a heavy silence. This was a letter that had been hidden from them for over 2 decades. Charles did not need to explain further. Inside the envelope was a handwritten letter from Diana, written just weeks before her death. Only Charles and his most trusted aide knew of its existence until now. The contents of the letter revealed a side of Diana's final thoughts that had been kept hidden, a wish for the future of her sons free from the constraints of royalty. It wasn't about jewelry, titles, or royal duties. It was about freedom, protection, and love. She wanted us to live as normal people first, Harry is said to have remarked after reading it. For William, that moment was deeply personal. This was not just a letter to him. He saw it as a final message from the mother he had lost too soon. A woman silenced by the very world she had tried to change. But I did not realize how overwhelming that attention would become, nor how it would affect both my public duties and my personal life in ways that would be almost unbearable. She wanted them to live a free life. This revelation sparked emotions and raised important questions. Why did Charles keep the letter hidden? What had Diana requested in those final lines? The answers to these questions set off a chain of reactions within the family, threatening to alter the future of the monarchy itself. This was more than they could bear. They were about to uncover deeper secrets that could reshape the legacy of the British royal family. Stay tuned, because what you are about to learn could change everything you thought you knew about Princess Diana and the monarchy. Diana's wish was for her sons to be free. The letter was brief, but its impact resonated deeply at the very core of the monarchy. Written in the unmistakable handwriting of Princess Diana just weeks before her death, this final message was not about accumulating wealth or gaining grand titles. It wasn't even about seeking revenge on those who had wronged her. It was a heartfelt plea from a mother, urgent, emotional, and unforgettable. According to a close aide, the letter reads in part, "Let them live without fear. Let them be themselves." These words were meant for her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. They were truly the center of her world. They were the reason she endured every cold dinner, every public betrayal, and every tear shed in silence. Diana feared the palace would turn them into statues, polished, distant, and emotionally repressed. She had witnessed what it did to Charles and to the generations before him. The monarchy did not teach its heirs how to feel. It taught them to elevate their performance no matter the cost. Diana didn't want that for her sons. "I don't want them to be trapped in a life they didn't build for themselves," she wrote. "They must be free to love, free to feel, free to lead without wearing a mask." That was truly radical. Stay with us, because what's coming next will make you question everything you thought you knew about Princess Diana's legacy. There are too many coincidences, too many strange things that don't add up. Everything seems suspicious. Don't miss it. It was emotional. It was completely Diana. She knew that one day William would bear the weight of the crown, and Harry, as the second son, would carry something even heavier, the feeling of being seen as the spare. Diana worried that both would be shaped by duty rather than desire, that the expectations would erode their true selves. This wasn't about rebellion. This was about protection. As the world closed in around them, their self-esteem dissolved into the fog of loneliness and despair. As they increasingly withdrew from those who could help, Diana lived through what she described as the emotional void of the monarchy. She had begged for warmth only to receive rules in return. She needed support and was met with complete silence in return. She became the most photographed woman in the world, yet still felt completely unseen. She didn't want that story to repeat, But what shocked William and Harry the most was not just their mother's wish. It was realizing that their father had kept it hidden for over 20 years. The letter was sealed, placed in a separate file, and buried under layers of official paperwork in Charles's personal safe. Why? According to insiders, Charles feared what Diana's words would do not just to the public image of the monarchy, but to its fragile structure behind the scenes. If Diana's final wish was for her sons to renounce the control of the royal family, how could the institution possibly survive? Some palace aides claimed Charles was concerned that it would encourage Harry to continue his estrangement and sow dangerous doubts in William's mind. Others believe it wasn't about protection at all. It was about power, about control. Whatever the reason, the damage had been done. The truth had been exposed. Now both brothers were forced to confront a reality that had been hidden from them throughout their adult lives. But for William, the impact was even deeper. Diana didn't just write a letter for both of her sons. In 2004, during a quiet renovation at one of Diana's homes, an unexpected discovery was made. A letter buried for years had been forgotten between the pages of Diana's personal album. This letter, unlike anything the royal family had ever seen, was addressed specifically to Prince William. It was not a public statement or an official communication. It was deeply personal, a raw and intimate conversation between mother and son. When William read those words, it is said to have shattered him. The letter revealed something no one outside the family ever fully understood: Diana's deep awareness of the burden her son would one day have to carry. "One day you will be king," she wrote. But what followed was not a call to fulfill duty or a lecture on royal responsibility. It was a plea: "Promise me, my dear, that you will not lose the boy inside you." In that moment, Diana's words cut through the years. The voice of a mother warning her son about what he was about to inherit, the harsh expectations, the pressure to conform, the loss of self that comes with wearing the crown. This becomes even more suspicious when we consider the timing of the letter. It wasn't written in the 1990s, when the relationship between Charles and Diana had exploded into public view, but rather during the quiet tension before the public ever knew about the breakdown of their marriage. Did Charles truly think this way at that time? Who was the letter written to? A trusted advisor within the Church of England? Or perhaps someone closer, like the successor to Lord Mountbatten? Some within the palace claim that this was not a slip of the tongue, but a deliberate and emotional decision. The words in the letter have caused historians to rewrite the royal family's timeline. This leads them to wonder whether this is an early confession of something far larger than we had ever imagined. Could this be the royal cover-up that has persisted for years? The theory that Harry may have been born via a surrogate, once dismissed and silenced for decades, has resurfaced. This idea was ridiculed in the past, but now, with the revelation of the letter, it no longer seems impossible. Perhaps this is the truth the royal family has been trying to conceal for all these years. The words in the letter have changed everything suddenly. What was once unthinkable now not only makes sense, but also seems far too fitting. In the early 1980s, Diana was hospitalized several times under vague circumstances, officially due to stress or private health issues. However, insiders now reveal there were discussions concerning her fertility concerns. Quiet conversations between doctors' aides and royal advisors. If Charles and Diana were as estranged at that time as many suggest and a public heir was needed, could the crown have arranged for a surrogate behind closed doors? The palace holds power and motive. All it requires is secrecy. Charles's words, not hers from the very beginning, take on a different meaning now. When considering a surrogate, Diana may have been asked to raise the child playing the role of a mother without any biological connection. This could explain the letter and her long silence. Royal experts now suggest that this theory is no longer just speculation, but may explain the emotional distance, even the lifelong sense of disconnection that Harry has always felt. If that's Charles trying to put into words what he's struggled with for years, many close to the royal family have noted that the relationship between Charles and Harry has always been strained. Public events unfolded formally, but lacked warmth, and the colder tone became more apparent as Harry grew older. Some attribute this to generational differences, but insiders see something else: emotional avoidance. A former palace aide reflected, "Charles seemed to never know how to emotionally connect with Harry, as if he wanted to, but didn't know whether he should." The royal family has always operated in a world of strict rules and quiet traditions. They keep their personal struggles private and expect everyone in the family to do the same. They resist change, cling to old traditions, and avoid public displays of emotion. But Diana didn't follow that path. She opened up about her pain, she bravely admitted to the isolation she felt, and she spoke about the overwhelming burden of being a royal in a way that no one had dared to talk about before. And because of her honesty, the public loved her all the more. Prince Edward, calm as ever, saw it all unfold. He saw how the royal family struggled to keep up, while Diana's openness connected her to the people in ways the royal family could not. Her truth not only revealed her own struggles, it exposed the backwardness of the monarchy. For generations, the family had carefully shaped how the world saw them. They kept their image polished and aloof, but Diana could not be managed or contained. Her sincerity, the very thing that endeared her to everyone, also became the greatest threat to the old royal system. She made people feel something real, something personal, and that made her more than just a difficult royal. It made her a challenge to everything the monarchy had built over the years. The more they tried to silence or limit her, the more it became clear that their grip on the public trust was fraying. But inside Buckingham, the palace remains in absolute silence. Silence without statements, without explanations. Just quiet corridors, tense meetings, and growing panic. Behind that silence, insiders say it's fear. Why? Because this isn't just about one letter. It's about what else could be out there. A royal source confirms that a private crisis management team has been reactivated, similar to the team used during Meghan and Harry's interview with Oprah. Their new task: to control leaks, manage the fallout, and uncover the original documents. There are whispers now that more letters may have been sent to Diana, to William, or even to Harry himself. If just one more document surfaces, it could be a disaster, not only emotionally but legally, as questions about inheritance titles and royal succession laws could be raised. Prince William has known the truth. He has kept it hidden all these years. But if he knows and remains silent, then it's no longer just a family secret. It's a betrayal that could tear them apart forever. The pressure of knowing this truth, Prince William, the heir and the face of the modern monarchy, has been raised from birth to lead. But after this letter, his silence is beginning to attract attention and suspicion. Because if this secret was known within the palace, William may have known for a long time. Prince William and Prince Harry, long familiar names in the public eye, have gone through many ups and downs in their lives. However, perhaps nothing compares to the pain of losing their beloved mother, Princess Diana. For both of them, Diana's death was not just a family loss, but a major turning point that changed their lives forever. The truth is, after their mother's passing, the relationship between William and Harry gradually began to fracture. This is not an easy truth to admit, but the discord had been simmering for a long time, and it became one of the factors that led to the significant changes in their lives. William couldn't stop himself as he watched the warmth in his mother's eyes, the way Diana gently tucked Harry's hair behind his ear, and the moment she whispered into his ear, making Harry burst into laughter. Although the words couldn't be heard clearly, the emotion in those gestures conveyed a powerful message. This video was not just a memory, but a door that opened to a past William didn't realize he had buried so deeply. As he watched those moments, he couldn't help but feel the pain of loss, as if a part of the past had slipped away, never to return. Prince William, standing beneath his mother's statue, continued. "My mother's voice has always guided me," he said with a solemnity that made the world seem to pause and listen. It wasn't just a tribute, it was a bearing of his soul, a truth never shared beyond the palace walls. He slowly revealed the words Diana had whispered to him just before she passed, words no one else had heard. William also began to understand the reasons Diana had once fought. Some issues were still evolving while others had quietly faded over time. He reached out, inquiring about everything and wondering if there was anything he could do to help. He wasn't trying to replace Diana, he simply wanted to carry a part of her forward. And that was how to keep kindness alive. Over time, William started thinking about something more lasting, a place to honor Diana in a way that felt authentic. Not a grand monument, not a cold gallery, but something soft, familiar, and personal. He imagined a space filled with fragments of Diana, not just objects, but moments. A peaceful garden or a quiet room adorned with her photographs. A space where people could sit and remember without judgment, where she could feel like herself. Diana did something unprecedented in royal history. She made people feel that the crown was not just a symbol, but something real and warm. For so long, the royal family lived hidden behind layers of rules, distance, and quiet dignity. They were not allowed to appear as ordinary people with emotions and flaws. They were supposed to represent tradition, stability, and history. But Diana turned that idea on its head. She did not hide behind guards or large gates. She was soft, open, and never afraid to show affection in public. Instead of just waving from afar, she walked into the crowd smiling at strangers, touching their hands and looking them in the eye with warmth. That gentle intimacy felt new and special. She brought the royal world down to earth, closer to the common man, and people felt more connected to her than ever before. But what seemed beautiful to the public felt dangerous inside the palace. This change was not taken lightly. It shook the royal family to its core. No royal has ever been as naturally and deeply loved as Princess Diana. She did not perform her duties as if they were just a job. Her actions came from her heart. Diana was not just present at official events, but went to hospital beds when others were too afraid to come near. When the world stigmatized people with HIV/AIDS, Diana touched them, hugged them, and made them feel appreciated. She did not need the limelight. She needed real change for those who were suffering. Her trips into landmines were not for show, but to raise awareness and fight for those forgotten in war and conflict. In her efforts to remain authentic, Diana gradually found herself exhausted. Her strength and independence were also her greatest pain. She could no longer force herself to play the role of a silent, smiling royal. She opened up about her pain and showed everyone what life behind the royal curtain was really like. But her family was not prepared for such openness. They did not know how to react to such honesty. And so it leaves us all with an important question: did Diana's approach help the monarchy grow, or did it tear it apart? Read on to find out. The role Diana played. Many believe that Diana gave the royal family a second chance, because before she came along, interest in the monarchy was fading. To the public, it had begun to look like something from the past, rigid, unapproachable, and stuck in its old ways. But when Diana arrived, everything changed. She brought a new energy, a gentle light that drew people back to the royal family. Diana made the royal family feel important again, and whether they accepted it or not, she ushered them into a new chapter of history. Her presence didn't just draw attention, it opened up hidden corners. Some believe that Diana herself uncovered truths that the royal family had tried to keep quiet for years. By speaking openly about the trauma, loneliness, and pressures she faced inside the palace, Diana lifted the veil that had been placed on the monarchy's image of perfection. She showed the world that behind the diamonds and the glittering golden halls lay a closed, cold, and prejudiced place. Her honest words left a deep mark on the public, a truth that long after her death, the British royal family is still struggling to heal. Diana's public life was a performance, a mask she wore for the cameras, the tabloids, and a nation longing for a princess. But in her private diaries, Diana was not performing. She confessed. These pages, never widely published, revealed the painful, raw journey of a woman pushed to the brink. She wrote about her loneliness, her insecurities, and the growing fear that she was losing control of her life. "He hates that they love me more than him," she wrote, referring to Charles and the increasing tension as her fame soared. She spoke openly about her battle with bulimia, her cries for help. I want to pay tribute to Diana myself. She was an extraordinary and talented person, especially in her dedication to her two sons, and the brutal silence that followed every time she sought support. Yet even in her darkest moments, Diana continued to fight for herself and for her sons. "They are the only part of my life that matters," she wrote. "I will not let them become shadows." Diana feared that William and Harry would be used as royal symbols, emotionally distant, obsessed with image, and cut off from the world around them. In hindsight, we can see how prophetic her words were. In her diaries, she warned of emotional repression, the coldness of the monarchy, and a future where love would be hidden behind titles. However, her honesty gave her sons something that most royal family members never received: the right to be vulnerable. Her diaries, combined with her final letter, formed a resonant and clear message: protect love over legacy. Protect the heart over hierarchy. Diana's final wish was not just to secure the future of her sons. It was about ensuring they stayed true to themselves, that they didn't become prisoners of the cold traditions of the monarchy. Now Diana's final wish is no longer a secret. The entire monarchy is at a pivotal moment that will shape its future. This is no longer just a private family drama. It has become a test for everything the crown represents and what it will evolve into. Will Prince William follow the path of the kings before him, or will he embrace the vision Diana laid out: a monarchy led by compassion, not ego? The weight of that decision now rests heavily on his shoulders. Will this shared truth bring them back together? Or is the gap between them too wide, with too many words spoken and too little forgiveness? The palace has yet to make an official statement, and don't expect one anytime soon. But make no mistake, everything has changed. The Queen is gone. Charles is growing older, and the next generation of the royal family is rising under the shadow of a woman who challenged the system and paid the ultimate price for it. And that's all we want to share about Princess Diana's mysterious and moving letter. Her legacy lives on, continuing to shape not only the lives of her two sons, but also the future of the British royal family. The biggest question remains unanswered: will William and Harry, despite walking two different paths, be able to fully honor their mother's final wish? Or will this truth continue to be a rift between them? If this story has touched your heart, don't forget to like and leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about Diana's legacy and the future of the monarchy. And to not miss other untold royal stories, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Thank you for watching.